Imagine living in a place where the sun disappears for months, where the children go to schools on darkness, and people slowly forgot what morning feels like. Today, we are exploring some of the darkest and most isolated places on Earth, where humans survive without sunlight. There's a place on Earth where the sun disappears for months. Children go to school in darkness. People wake up in darkness. And slowly, their minds begin to change. This sounds like science fiction, but it's real. Every year, in towns above the Arctic Circle, the sun simply stops rising. Imagine waking up, checking the time, and it says 10:30 in the morning. But outside, it looks like midnight. No sunrise, no sunlight, no morning. Just darkness. Not for one day, not for 1 week, but for 2 entire months. Your body stops understanding time. Your sleep changes. Your energy changes. And slowly, reality itself starts feeling wrong. Yet somehow, thousands of people still live here. In some of the coldest and most isolated places on Earth, they raise families, go to work, send their children to school, and continue life, as if this endless darkness is completely normal. So the real question is not how cold these places are. The real question is, what happens to humans when the world goes dark? To understand this, you first need to understand where these places exist. Far above the Arctic Circle, Earth behaves differently. During winter, the northern part of the planet tilts away from the sun so much that sunlight never fully rises above the horizon. This phenomenon is called polar night. In Tromsø, Norway, the sun disappears for around 50 days. In Utqiagvik, Alaska, it vanishes for more than 60 days. And in Longyearbyen, located deep in the Svalbard Islands, darkness lasts for over 100 days, more than 3 entire months, without a single sunrise. Imagine living through an entire season where morning never arrives. The strangest part is that the world does not become completely black. Instead, for a few hours each day, the sky turns deep blue and purple, creating something locals call the blue hour. It feels like standing inside an endless sunset. Beautiful, but unsettling, because the light never fully arrives. And once that faint glow disappears, darkness takes over again. Quietly, slowly, like the world has paused itself. Streets stay dim. Snow reflects the little light that exists. Houses glow warmly against the frozen landscape. And for the people living there, this becomes normal life. Humans are deeply connected to sunlight, more than most people realize. Every morning, sunlight tells your brain to wake up. It controls hormones, energy, focus, and sleep. But in places where the sun disappears, that system begins to break. People wake up feeling disoriented. Some sleep too much. Others can't sleep at all. Without sunlight, the brain struggles to understand time. Morning and night begin to feel the same. Many residents say they constantly check clocks because their body no longer trusts itself. So instead of relying on nature, they create artificial routines. Special lamps slowly brighten rooms in the morning, imitating sunrise. Homes stay brightly lit all day long, even when it's dark outside. Alarms become essential. Schedules become strict. Daily life becomes carefully controlled, because without structure, people slowly drift into exhaustion. Even children adapt to this strange rhythm. In Arctic towns, kids walk to school wearing reflective jackets and blinking lights, so drivers can see them in the darkness. Imagine growing up in a place where your childhood memories of winter are almost entirely dark blue skies and streetlights. Over time, the body adapts, but it never completely forgets that something is missing. Sunlight becomes something people crave without even realizing it. But the most powerful effect of polar night is not physical, it's mental, because darkness doesn't just stay outside. Eventually, it enters your mind. Without enough sunlight, the body produces less serotonin, a chemical directly connected to mood and emotional stability. Energy levels begin to fall. Motivation disappears. Simple tasks start feeling heavier. This condition is known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. At first, it feels harmless, just a little tiredness, a little low energy, but slowly, it builds. Days blend together. Motivation fades. The world starts feeling quieter and slower. Some people describe it as living inside a fog. And the most dangerous part is how gradually it happens. You don't wake up one day feeling broken. Instead, week after week, the darkness slowly changes the way your brain feels. Yet surprisingly, studies in places like Tromsø found that depression rates are not dramatically higher than many sunny places around the world. Which raises an interesting question. Why aren't Arctic communities collapsing emotionally? The answer is adaptation. People living here expect winter darkness. They prepare for it mentally. And that mindset changes everything. Instead of seeing winter as a disaster, many people treat it as a season of slowing down, reconnecting, and focusing inward. In a strange way, acceptance becomes survival. Instead of fighting darkness directly, Arctic communities redesign life around it. Homes become warm and comforting. Soft yellow lights glow through windows. Candles fill kitchens and living rooms, creating an atmosphere that feels calm instead of depressing. In Scandinavia, this lifestyle has a name, hygge, a concept built around warmth, comfort, and emotional connection. Because when the outside world becomes cold and dark, the inside world has to become stronger. Families spend more time together. Friends gather for dinners, games, and long conversations. Communities organize winter festivals, concerts, and indoor events to prevent isolation. Because loneliness can become far more dangerous than darkness itself. Even exercise becomes important. Many people go skiing, running, or hiking despite the darkness. Headlamps create moving lines of light across snowy trails. And then, there's the Arctic sky itself. During winter, the northern lights appear more often. Massive green waves moving silently through the darkness. In places where the sun disappears, nature creates its own light show. For many residents, the aurora becomes a reminder that darkness is not empty. It can still be beautiful. And slowly, what once seemed terrifying becomes something strangely peaceful. Life in these regions is not just psychologically difficult, it's physically challenging too. Winter temperatures regularly fall far below freezing. Roads become icy. Storms block transportation. Machines fail in the cold. In Utqiagvik, Alaska, There are no roads connecting the town to the rest of the country. Everything arrives by airplane or seasonal shipping. Food, medicine, fuel, supplies. Which means survival depends heavily on planning. Homes are specially insulated. Heating systems run constantly. Pipes are designed not to freeze. Even daily routines require preparation. Cars are often kept running for long periods because engines can fail in extreme cold. People layer themselves in heavy clothing before stepping outside. Exposed skin can freeze within minutes. And despite all this, life continues. Schools stay open. People go to work. Stores operate normally because eventually, humans adapt to almost anything. What feels impossible from the outside becomes ordinary from the inside. That may be the most surprising part of all. The people living here no longer see this life as extreme. To them, it's simply home. And then, after weeks of darkness, something incredible happens. The sun returns. In places like Tromsø, people literally gather outside to watch the first sunrise of the year. Children celebrate. Families stand together in silence. Some towns even hold festivals dedicated to the return of sunlight. Because after living without it for so long, the experience becomes emotional. Imagine not seeing sunlight for 2 entire months, and then suddenly, one morning, golden light touches the mountains again. In that moment, something most of us take for granted becomes powerful. People smile at the sky. Some cry. Others simply stand there quietly, appreciating something so basic, yet so important. Light. And maybe that's the strange lesson hidden inside these Arctic towns. When something disappears long enough, you finally understand its true value. Maybe the most fascinating part of this story is not the darkness itself, it's human adaptation. Because these places prove something incredible about people. Humans are capable of surviving conditions that seem impossible, not because conditions become easier, but because humans learn how to change. Arctic communities survive through preparation, routine, connection, and mindset. They accept reality instead of resisting it. And maybe that idea applies far beyond the Arctic, because everyone experiences darkness in different ways. Stress, isolation, fear, uncertainty, moments where life feels cold and endless. And just like the people living under polar night, we can't always control those conditions, but we can control how we respond to them. Darkness is rarely permanent. Eventually, the sun returns. And maybe that's why these frozen places feel so powerful. They remind us that humans are far more adaptable than we think. Living without the sun sounds impossible, but every year, thousands of people do it. Not by escaping the darkness, but by learning how to live within it. And maybe the real lesson is this: light is not what makes humans strong. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when the world goes dark. And if you enjoyed this journey into one of the strangest places on Earth, don't forget to subscribe, because there are still many more extreme places hidden around our world. Thanks for watching.